Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So I'm going to talk about another topic that is it's a part of innovation prototyping. That's to create an inspiring environment. Now, based on the previous discussion, right? I mentioned that we talked about creating an archetype and how important it is to um, empathize with your customer and also to future proof the stuff, right? Now, let's assume that you've done all of this thing, right? Now, once that's done, right, it's time for you to prototype the stuff what you wanted to build, right? Let's say, for instance, if you wanted to build a metaverse, you need to prototype that, right? At least to see that if your idea uh, really going to work, right? I mean, it's really time to test the water, right? It's very important that you focus on building a prototype, but building a prototype comes with its own challenge, right? It's great that you have an idea you wanted to build, say for instance a metaverse, but you need to assemble the team, right? It's like saying it's not like saying Avengers assemble, right? I'm a Marvel fan, so you might see me referring to some Marvel stuff, but um, so what I'm trying to get say here is that, right, it's very important to have a brilliant team, right? Or it's very important that you bring your team together. Now, to bring your team together, although it sounds like an easy task, but it's not always the case, right? Because different people are motivated by different things, right? Not everyone is motivated by the same factor. Some people get excited. Oh wow, that's the greatest things we're going to build. Some people say, that's too difficult to build. The CEO has no idea what he's talking about. You will get different types of people, right? So it's very important to get the opinion, get the feedback, but at the same time, it's very important that you build your, uh, you know, you build a platform where people can has a voice, right, where they can express opinion, because obviously, your vision should be, propagated across entire team, and it's very important to get the feedback, and feedback in the sense that your stakeholder should be across every aspect of this prototyping, because obviously they're the one who going to fund it, right? Now, the most important thing, right? How to bring your team together, right? You could do, you can book a, like, let's start with the conventional stuff, right? Like you normally do, right? You have an idea, right? You think it's going to work. You want to build a metaverse. You wanted to talk to the group of designers, engineers, architect. How are you going to do that? You're going to book a meeting, right? It's old school. Book a meeting, go to your room, and brainstorming the ideas, right? Your designer might say, hey, I wanted to build this in this way. Architect might say, hey, this may not be architecturally viable. And your developer might say, hey, this seems okay from every perspective, but it's gonna be too much of time consuming. We don't have enough uh, talent in the team, or we don't have enough information how to go forward, right? So different challenges, it's good to talk about it. And if you look at the modern perspective, you normally build an online team, because your team might be based in, say, for instance, in Philippines, or some might be based in Poland, some might be based in Romania, some might be based in India, some might be based in Japan, United States, Finland, wherever, right? So you can all collaborate at the same time, and depending upon the time zone, right? And then you can brainstorm it, right? You can use the Miro board, you can use the team board, oh, whatever. It's important, right? Or if you are based locally, right? For instance, let's take an example of New Zealand, like where I'm based, right? So here you can obviously book a retreat. You can go to, like Steve Jobs used to do, right? When he was running Next, he used to take his people for a retreat, to brainstorm. That's a very good way, in my opinion, right? You can take people for, when people are in the comfort zone, right? They express themselves better. When people are stressed, right? They really don't want to, talk about it, because they too many things going on in the brain, right? So they really don't want it to contribute. So it's always important to make sure that you bring people on board and they're comfortable, right? So, like I said, the trailhead talks too many stuff, right? It talks about mood, quantity, diversity, right? And when it discuss about the mood, I discussed, right? Different people have different state of different frame of mind, and they need different things to motivate them. Quantity is important, and diversity is very important, right? If you're building a metaverse, you need to get an impression of different people, right? The thing is that we assume that this technology will be used by different people, but some people might have religious consideration. They may not find it's very convincing to use something which they don't understand, right? You need to bring the diversity into picture, right? I'm just give you a very simple example, right? Religion is one of them. I'm not saying that religious people are against technology, but I'm just saying it can be a challenge to someone, right? So you might have to factor that into consideration. Obviously, we have to be inclusive of everyone, right? The gender, race, whatever. And then you need to give them a platform they can express themselves. No idea is a bad idea, right? That's the first thing, right? Because if you shut down any idea thinking, oh, that's a stupid idea, then people will not contribute, right? I mean, I'm a big believer, right? Innovation comes when you're in your most comfort state of mind, right? When everything works out for you and you can think different things, because if you're in the middle of something very, something urgent, and if you're getting frustrated and annoyed by it, you'll not have much time to think about a different aspect, right? So it's very important that person should be in a comfort state of mind. So a retreat is a good option, right? You can also book a resort, or you can book a restaurant where you can people go for a drink, and you can book, or you can plan out an event, right? If you really don't want to do that, you can hire an event planner to do that for you. So this is very important, right? So the whole idea of creating an inspiring environment is people can express themselves, right? And expressing in the sense, right, they should be able to express freely, not with the limited, you know, options, right? They can express this, but they can't talk this, they can talk that. That's not really great. Such environment will never fuel innovation, right? Because I do understand, right? Some people say, "Oh, I'm afraid of my boss because what if I express something he don't like it." That environment is not really great. If your boss do not like that, then it's a great opportunity to have a discussion with your boss, that to say what is it that he don't like or she don't like about it or they don't like about it, right? It's always an opportunity to work out things. That's my opinion. That's my belief at the same time, right? So creating that inspiring environment is not only good for a company, it's good for the well-being of your um, employees as well, and they will be more motivated, they will be more willing to put an extra effort, and they will be more willing to go with your vision, right? And that's one of the reasons why this topic is really the most important topic. Now, I do appreciate the fact you might think, hey, why am I talking about the Salesforce? But like I said, right, all these factors, right, is important. Before we build a solution or product, Salesforce is just a tool, right? You and I know that very well. You could apply the same concept if you're an SAP consultant, or if you are using a different framework, right? It doesn't matter. It's we're talking a technology agnostic perspective at this stage. So yeah, I mean, that's and once your team is happy with it, it's important to someone to facilitate that, so that someone can make notes, someone can come to a conclusion. Okay, XYZ team discussed, have we've decided to go with this kind of stuff, right? So you can always come up with different ideas. So that's the whole point of having a good team metrics or team dynamics, right? So that's pretty much I wanted to talk about in this episode. I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. Adios.